So hey guys, back again with another video, and the Cavs are interested in acquiring George Hill from the Sacramento Kings, and I just don't know why they're making this move. I'm like, George Hill is a solid player, NBA veteran, plays decent defense, can knock down the three, but other than that, he's nothing special. And I think they really need to admit that they need to stop blaming Kevin Love for their defensive issues. It's a team problem, and the team and LeBron, especially being the captain and the leader of this Cleveland Cavaliers and the franchise, need to treat Kevin Love better. Stop using him as a scapegoat. Moving him to center was not a good idea. Get Tristan back in his starting lineup as a center. Put Kevin Love to his natural position as power forward. And as a team, they need to play better defense. Everybody, including LeBron. I'm like, everybody talks about LeBron's leadership. That's one of the things that a leader does. He helps and encourages and takes care of his teammate. And the Cavs aren't doing that right now. And Isaiah's playing terrible defense. He probably needs to come off the bench. And maybe if they trade for George Hill, they can have him start and have Isaiah come off the bench, because that's really what he is. He's a get buckets guy off the bench. He's not a superstar, and he's being exposed too much on the defense. And the Cavs are not a good defensive team, so I think just a lineup change is better than any kind of trade the Cavs have out there. But if they are going to trade for George Hill, just put him in the starting lineup. Have Isaiah bring the energy and pop off the bench with the second unit. Put Tristan back in the starting lineup, and just play a traditional lineup like they did last year, and stop blaming Kevin Love and using him as scapegoat for all their problems and saying they're bad defense because of Kevin Love. Because Kevin Love has never been a rim protector. He's not a 7-footer. He's just been a good offensive power forward, and they're just gonna have to live with that and accept him for what he is and stop pointing out what he isn't.
And if all these they got to make changes. But none of them will matter if LeBron doesn't change.
How?
All right? This is, besides when he took off his jersey, walking off the court, besides one or two games in the Dallas series, I've seen LeBron play maybe 90% of all the games he's played. I probably saw him play half the games that he played in high school. This is the least amount of fun that I've ever seen LeBron have on the court. My favorite LeBron was the kid who came out and they had all the dances and everything they were doing, taking the pictures, his first time in Cleveland. That was when, now he wasn't a champion then. He evolved into a dynamic leader and a dynamic all-around basketball player in Miami. But even in Miami, he didn't always have fun. I have never seen LeBron have less fun on the basketball court. And you always talk about through social media how he sends these messages. Yesterday, he sent a message to himself. Now, to me, when you are in the stratosphere as far as athletes, you don't need to send a message to yourself. Everyone knows how great. You're in rare air. But it spoke to me, who's someone who's been watching him before that picture. When I heard about him through Wim Wesley, Worldwide West, when he was 14 years old. He said, Chris, there's a kid from Ohio. It's probably going to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest basketball player ever. So I've been tuned into him. But I've always seen a kid who loved basketball and the joy of basketball. And regardless of what he had going on the basketball court was his safe haven. I didn't see that. He wasn't even celebrating this phenomenal achievement. It was kind of like he was relieved. I think he was glad that he had one of his brothers in Dwayne Wade there. So for me, that's got to change. I don't care about George Hill as much if LeBron is not all in sync. If he's not, like you saying, playing to an uber level, they can't beat Golden State. So now I don't even think they can get out of the East until LeBron, he's got to get out of this funk that he's in.
Well, I want to show a clip. These are consecutive plays last night, early in the second quarter. This was still a game. In fact, I mean, you'll see the score in the bottom right-hand corner. I guess the score's covered up, but it's a close game, I promise you. Watch. So if you guys see, and we'll show it again, the Cavs don't even cross the three-point line. And then on the next time down, Kevin Love goes down. And who's helping him? Just get away from me. Nobody's helping him. Watch here. Isaiah Thomas, watch him. He's already playing defense. He's starting a 5-on-4 right there. That's not a fun team to play with right now. And then on the other end of the court, Isaiah doesn't get into the play. Kevin Love goes down, and Jay Crowder steps around him. Part of the report is that there is a disconnect between the guys who have been on the Cavs and the 8 new Cavs, well, 7 of the new Cavs except for Dwayne Wade, essentially. That was on full display last night. I don't know how you fix it other than trading away some of the new guys, other than moving on potentially from Jay Crowder, at least moving him out of the starting lineup. The IT part, Jenna, I feel like he is in his own head. He is thinking about, am I playing myself out of, forget a max contract, a giant contract?
Yeah, he's under a great deal of pressure. Anyone who plays with LeBron's under pressure, he would have been under pressure even if he had not suffered the injury in the playoffs. Like, he would have been under pressure under any circumstances in Cleveland. And now going through that, and he's not healthy. He's not explosive.
Not healthy.
He doesn't have legs. I mean, he was falling all over the court last night like he was playing on ice, like hockey, and the rest of them playing on the hardwood on a basketball court.
For someone who's played it and someone that basically studies basketball, here's my question to you. Is there a pathway for this team to be successful if they don't all get along? They don't like each other right now. Anyone can see that. But is it possible to be successful having that team strife, or will they need to fix that before anything else?
It's hard in team sports not to like the people you're with. It's hard in any business when it relies on teamwork that you can't depend on people. And every day, instead of doing what's best for the organization, for the team, for the show, you do what's best for yourself. And it trickled over into sports. And that's what we're seeing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, man, IT needs a contract. He needs to be healthy. Yeah. So right now, his overall sacrifice, like, is he going to sacrifice his body and throw himself into a charged situation, you know, to be able to let his teammates know when they help? There's such a disconnect from the communications. Oh, I thought you had this guy. In last night's game, they threw the ball to the corner. Dwayne Wade and someone else ran to the corner to leave another guy wide open. So you can see that overall chemistry, it's trickled from off the court because they don't spend that much time on the court, Jenna. Right. So how you feel about the person, it will trickle over onto the court.
Did the losing beget the bad relationships, or did the bad relationships beget the losing? Because there's the same collection of people. I know IT wasn't playing, but he was there on the bench that won 18 out of 19 games. That looked like when IT came back, they could have one of the best records in the NBA from that moment moving forward. What I think the Cavs need is to get to February 8th. That is the trade deadline. That is when the team will be locked in stone. And they will have to, for good or for bad, figure out how to get back to the team that played Houston, in Houston, neck and neck. Played Golden State on Christmas Day, neck and neck. That team still exists. They haven't suffered any major injury. They haven't lost any significant player. That team still exists. They have to find a way to get back to it. And Chris's point that LeBron's got to be the Pied Piper of joy, for lack of a better term, is an important one. I don't think that will happen until the team is set post-trade deadline.
Nick, you taught me this, and Charlie, and we've made some adjustments with the show. Chris, you can't be, because there's some days I can be a mean dude.
No. This is the first time.
Check the tape out the last hour and a half yesterday.
But Nick has a few private conversations with me and lets me know, under no circumstances are we going to be at our best if you're not at your best. So it is important, and LeBron James, it's always been that way. And they won't get it right in Cleveland until he gets back and begins to have fun and be able to play and enjoy his teammates.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.